There are few things in this world better than a perfectly cooked halibut using the sous vide technique. Beautifully poached in a saffron and fennel pollen court bouillon, served with a vanilla and cardamom celeriac puree and a sauce made by reducing Madeira wine and chicken bone broth, and finished with whole grain mustard. This dish is sure to wow your guests at your next event. So please join me as I take you on this wild ride that is all things sous vide.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna cook everything sous vide. What is sous vide, you might ask? It's when you take any type of protein, fish, steak, chicken, we vacuum seal it with some flavoring, some herbs, maybe some oil, some butter, and then we put it in a controlled immersion circulator and then cook it at an exact temperature. And then why sous vide? Well, in the restaurants, this helps us to reach specific results, and we can only achieve that using this cooking method. We try to do anything else. We try to roast it, sear it. We're always gonna hit that well done on the exterior of our protein or our vegetables, and then the inside's gonna be less cooked. So you have this outer wall around whatever it is that you're cooking, baking, roasting, that's gonna always be more well done than the center. What sous vide does, it actually cooks everything to that perfect exact temperature. For instance, today we're gonna cook our halibut at 130, and then we're gonna cook our vegetables at 185. 185, it's gonna help break down the cell walls and the pectin of the vegetables, some carrots and some zucchini, give it a nice texture, and it's not gonna make it super mushy like you would get if you just braised it or steamed it or seared it or roasted it in the oven. 130 is pretty much like a medium for the halibut. It's not like chicken. Chicken's 165, that's well done. It's a little bit different with fish. You wanna cook it more gently and softly. So sous vide cooking for fish is probably one of the best methods that you can ever do, besides probably steaming it or in papillotes or some of these older cooking methods. What sous vide does for proteins, it actually breaks down the collagen, still keeps it nice and firm without breaking down and turning it mushy. Or you do a steak or a piece of fish and you cut it open, you're gonna have that perfect temperature all the way through. So if you did a mid-rare steak at 135 and you go ahead and cut that in half, you're gonna see that it's mid-rare from the outer exterior all the way into the middle. This is why in the restaurants it's beautiful to have sous vide cooking. It helps our food costs. It's kind of idiot-proof for sous chefs and our line cooks that think they can just take a piece of steak, throw it on the grill, hit this magical temperature, which you can do, and we've all learned how to do that as chefs, and we should know how to do that to be great cooks. But doing sous vide, it helps us to achieve those temperatures exactly, so we know exactly where we're at. We have it at that perfect temperature. We can take it out, just sear real quick and serve it, and we're ready to go. Guys, I can't wait for you to learn something new. If you can, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow, and I truly appreciate everything that you do to support this channel. Looking forward to this one, guys. As always, let's get into it.
All right, guys, so I'm gonna start by cutting some fresh thyme from my garden. Don't mind my dying cilantro behind there. And we're also gonna cut some nasturtium leaves for the end for garnish.
First, we'll start out with some celeriac. We're gonna take this baby, we're gonna peel it down, chop it up a little bit, add some cardamom and some vanilla.
We'll also add a few sprigs of fresh thyme. We'll add 300 milliliters of heavy cream. We're gonna go ahead and vacuum this on full pressure. If you don't have a vacuum chamber like this, go ahead and use a vacuum sealer.
We're gonna throw that in our immersion circulator at 185 for about an hour and a half.
All right, next up, let's go ahead and take about 8 to 10 baby carrots and then go ahead and peel them down. Make sure that you save all of your trimmings for a court bouillon for a halibut. We'll take all the carrots, lay them flat in a bag.
A little bit of our thyme from the garden. A little olive oil. A little sherry vin. A little flaky sea salt. Some fresh cracked pepper.
And then just like the celeriac, we'll go ahead and vacuum these at full pressure. There's something so therapeutic about that sound. See how you want them all flat so they cook super even? We'll cook these with our celeriac at 185 for an hour and a half to 2 hours. All right, the last veg we need to prep is our zucchini.
I would like to just cut it in some smaller pieces that you're probably not used to seeing, but just makes it look super cool. Then what we want to do is just cut some long strips, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch.
And then same as our carrots, we'll put them in bags with a little bit of fresh thyme, some sherry vinegar.
Garlic confit or roasted garlic. Put a couple of those guys in there.
And then also use the oil from the garlic. We'll go ahead and vacuum these at full pressure, just like the other veg, and then we'll cook these at 185 for 10 to 12 minutes.
All right, so we got our zucchini, last one to go in for our veg. So we'll check them in just a little bit.
After 15 minutes, go ahead and put your zucchini in the ice bath to stop the cooking process.
All right, so we went about 1.5 hours on our celery roots. Pop this open, be very careful because this is extremely hot. All we want to do is just take out our vanilla and our thyme, and we'll go ahead and leave the cardamom in there. Just go ahead and plop this in your Vitamix or blender. I'm gonna go ahead and hit a couple drops of some sherry vinegar in there. It'll kick the salt to the back and actually make all the flavors a little bit more forward. Push this through a fine mesh sieve. You don't have to do this, but I just like things a little bit more refined. Into our piping bag. All right, so we got our celery root puree ready to go. Go ahead and keep this warm. All right, let's go ahead and make our court bouillon. 300 milliliters of homemade chicken stock. Just a nice handful of some of that veg that we cut earlier. 2 cloves of garlic. 1/2 teaspoon of fennel pollen. And then we want a few threads of saffron. All right, just bring this up to a simmer. We'll shut it off, let it cool down, and then we'll cryovac our halibut. Lastly, to our court bouillon, want to add in a nice knob of butter. Just let that kind of slowly melt. Let that sit off to the side. Next, we're going to want 300 milliliters of Madeira wine. We're going to reduce that down and add our chicken stock. All right, so as you can see, our sauce is reduced down to, I'd say, to probably about 1/2 cup. We started out with 2 liters, so keep that in mind. You want to reduce it all the way down. And then we'll add in a nice heaping tablespoon of whole grain mustard, tablespoon of truffle butter. Regular butter is fine. We want to just kind of whisk that in. All right, so we'll let this sit off to the side. Then right before we serve our halibut, maybe add in 1 more tablespoon of butter, and we'll be good to go. All right, let's prep our halibut. We got this gorgeous piece of Alaskan halibut. And then obviously you see this here. Turn it so you can see it. This part is way thicker than this part right here. So what we want to do is just go ahead and divide these up. We'll put these in 2 separate bags because this one's definitely not going to take as long as this fatty piece right here. This one will probably do for about 20 minutes, and this one will probably do for about 30 to 35 minutes. Tablespoon of butter of our bags here. A little bit more of that fresh thyme. The next thing we want to do is make sure that our court bouillon is strained out. Make sure that this is cooled down completely before you put it in with your halibut. That's the thing about sous vide cooking, is you don't want to ever put a hot liquid into a warm water bath. You always want to make sure it's completely chilled and then brought up gently. So we'll just put just enough to make sure our fish is completely covered.
We'll vacuum these at medium pressure and sous vide for 30 minutes.
All right, so we got our beautiful halibut here. Let those go for a swim.
All right, then last minute, I wanted to add some starch to this dish, so I went ahead and took some day-old potatoes, took the peels off. We're gonna smash those, put them in a hot pan with some oil, chop up some fresh thyme. We'll add that at the very end.
With our potatoes. Get some nice color on these. All those little crispy bits. Second day potatoes are one of my favorites. That right there, that crispy texture that these get. Yeah. And then at the very end, we'll just add a little bit of fresh thyme, and that's it. Keep these very simple. We don't want to take away from our beautiful halibut we got going. All right, guys, we did it. Another beautiful dish. I'm really happy with the way this came out. One little critique I would say for myself was when I did the zucchini, I did it a little bit too long, but no big deal. I'm still happy with the way it came out. Super gorgeous, beautiful. The colors really pop. Sous vide the carrots really keeps in that beautiful color, the carrot. I have some nasturtium growing wild in my garden right now, so I figured I'd put that on pretty much every video I have. And so I think the last thing I gotta do is taste it, right? Let's give this a whirl. Comes apart, so beautiful, flaky. Get some of our sauce over here. Oh man, you can't beat that. That was absolutely delicious, came out great. What can I say, guys? Thanks again, as always, for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you know anytime I drop a new gorgeous video. And if you guys learned something today, I really, truly hope I earned your subscription on this masterclass that is all things sous vide. I thought it came out great. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. So as always, have a blessed day and a blessed week. And I look forward to seeing you here again on the next video next week. Take care.